Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 31st of January, 2019 at 1:11 p.m. And yesterday I asked people on if they wanted any certain topics, and I think it was Kaylin from PrepperX asked me about doing a video on stuff around the house that you could use during a disaster or medical type emergencies without having a lot of fanciness. So I put together a small list of ideas and what you could use. Well, the first one I'm going to start with is feminine hygiene products. One, the pad style type feminine hygiene products can be used for bandaging, absorbing blood. They're sterile and they're portable. So that was the original design of those, believe it or not, was not for women. It was actually during, I think it was World War One, or maybe even before that. I can't remember where I was reading the article about it. The other thing you can use is tampons. No, not for gunshot wounds. But you could take the tampon, spray it with nasal spray, keep it in a sealed bag, and you can use it for nosebleeds. Not always recommended during good times, but in a disaster you may not have a choice if you can't get the bleeding controlled within 10-15 minutes. So that was just from that aspect. From t-shirts, old ones, or whatever you would have around the house. If you need to, you could use for bandaging, slings, tourniquets. What I would do is you could take the sleeves, make them into headbands to hold bandages in place. Also, if you had newborn babies or babies, you could use the shirt to wrap the baby in to try to keep them warm. Another thing you could use would be sheets, blankets, or towels from your house. You could use them as bandaging or pressure bandages. You can turn them into stretchers or use for blankets, slings or tourniquets, and water filters or gas mask filters to help try to filter the air. You could also use them for privacy curtains and also protect your plants from frost if you had to. Another one is duct tape. Secure and watertight or waterproof bandage. Could also hold splints, possibly if you had to, you could use them to for chest wounds. If somebody had a chest wound, you could use the duct tape. Not my number one go-to, but if that's all I had, I could use that. Popsicle sticks, yardsticks, rulers, and broomsticks. The broomsticks are good to use to make a homemade stretcher. Depending on the size of the patient, you may need more than one broomstick on each side to make that capability. You can also use them for splints. Strainers, your kitchen strainers, your pasta strainer type things. You can line them with a coffee filter, and then in a disaster, if you're trying to figure out if somebody has kidney stones or medical treatment during an SHTF event, you could use it to check for kidney stone. Elmer's glue or shoe glue can be used for removing splinters. You dab a little bit on the splinter, then let it dry, and then you lift it up, and normally along the head of the splinter sticking out, it should be able to lift it out. Was another thing I thought about. Another one is frozen vegetables from your freezer. If that was still around, I could use them for ice packs. Or in the summer, if somebody's super heated, you could put it on them to help cool them down. Cotton balls can be used for fire tinder, small wound packing, and also earplugs if you had to. Bleach, if you mix that 10-to-1 with water, it kills most germs out there. So household bleach can be used for that. Tube socks and stockings, holding bandages in place, soda bottle, holding the bandage in place, what you do is you place the sock over a soda bottle so that it stretches, then roll it up or roll it down the bottle so it makes a donut shape. And then you can put them in your bag and you can use them to hold bandages in place. Excuse me. Rubbing alcohol. It's a fabulous antiseptic. It'll also sterilize wounds and equipment. The only thing to remember, alcohol does cause a burning sensation for some people, depending on their pain level when you're using it. Potato chip bags, baggies, plastic wrap, or garbage bags can be used to seal sucking chest wounds. It's just one of them. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Another thing you can do is if you have a burn, take one of those products and you can actually, if you don't want the bandage to stick to the wound, sometimes they'll say if you wrap it with like plastic wrap or a garbage bag, something like that, it won't always stick to the wound like a gauze pad would. But I would only be doing this during bad times when medical assistance wasn't available. And the last one I thought about was super glue, Durobond type use, closing wounds, dab it on the clean wound. Make sure that it's dry area, it's clean and dry. Along at the cut line, you're going to squeeze the wound together, and then you put a dab of the glue there or whatever you think you would need to get it to stick together. But realize it's not a ideal situation in everyday life when you can get to medical attention doing that. Also remember, this is only as a resource. This is not a teaching resource. This is a information-based resource. So for my liability, I don't want people to run around saying I said it's okay to do this. This is in a worst case scenario, and this is the only time I would use it. But this is just some of the few things I thought about in the last probably 12 hours since the chat last night. So I actually did listen. This one I quick threw together. So if anybody else thinks of other uses, please comment below the video. I am sure there's plenty of people that watch it. So hopefully this helps you. And this will be Rescue Boss. I'll be signing off for today. A little bit of use of household items during a medical event. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. God bless.